tomorrow ever done for you, ever done for me? Nothing I can see. What's tomorrow ever done for you, ever done for me? I just can't believe.
So, to start off, why don't each of you introduce yourselves to the folks who are watching this thing so we know who's who. Start with Dave.
Hi there, Dave. I'm Dave from the Gold Needles, lead guitarist with the band. Below me is...
That's Carl.
Oh, I might be lawyer. I'm diagonally above you on that. Yeah, I'm Carl. I'm the bassist and harmony vocalist with said Needles.
And then we have...
I'm Mark, and I'm the keyboard player in the same band.
Now, are you guys all in Hull?
Yes.
We are?
Yeah.
Ooh, it's very exciting. My favorite guitar player is from Hull, or was from Hull.
Oh, Dave Burbage.
That would be Mick Ronson.
Oh, my hero.
Yeah. Yeah, class act.
Yeah, fine musician, highly underrated in my opinion.
Yeah, he was a good one. Is there some kind of statue or something to him in Hull?
There's a mural on the gable end of the house on the estate. Well, it's not actually the estate he used to live like, it's the estate next to it, which some actually think looks a bit more like Tom Petty. There's a statue not of him, it's of a sort of Les Paul guitar, sort of ironwork. Is that in Queen's Gardens, lads? Sorry, I moved it.
East Park, is it?
East Park, yeah.
That's it.
So,
that stage, wasn't there?
Second,
There was a Mick Ronson stage, wasn't there, in Queen's
That's
Gardens?
right, yeah.
Very good. Well, enough of Mick Ronson. Let's talk about the Gold Needles. You guys have an album out. It's like any day now. It's coming out.
Friday.
Tomorrow. Ever done for you? It's a question a lot of people are going to be asking, I think, with the way things are. So tell me a little bit, just in background, when the album was recorded, and you've been waiting out the lockdown for it to be released, or what?
Shall I start?
What do you reckon? Yeah, go on.
I'll start, and then you can check it out. We started to record it. We got some pieces of songs, probably in the back end of 2019, and the first songs that we properly finished were Billy Liar and Have You Ever Loved Somebody, which we got finished by about January last year.
Right.
And the rest of it was either partly done, or at least a couple of the tracks were written in their entirety during the summer and recorded in a little window that we had in the summer when we could get together outdoors. So we sort of got bits of it ready. Lockdown happened in the UK, and we'd literally had to shelve everything for a number of weeks. And then it started to open up a little bit. We couldn't meet indoors, but we could meet outdoors. So we got together whenever we could, just for a little quick 2 or 3 hours at a time, just to try and put some little bits of track down. And then Dave would do his magic on the guitar. I would add some additional keyboards. We'd recorded everything to click track. So a drummer we know who's in the south of England, who we got on really well with, we'd send in the tracks and ask him to drum on them. And we sort of built them that way. And ironically, one of the last tracks that we recorded was the title track, What's Tomorrow Ever Done For You? And we did that one Saturday morning in the summer. Remember distinctly, it was really nice for the UK. It was really summer's month.
Literally recording in the garden, a lot of it, wasn't it?
We did it in the garden. And
we just in the north of England, it could be sunny one minute and pouring down the next. So I was lucky.
That's
Four seasons in one day, as some famous Kiwi once sang.
Very good. So now, speaking of Kiwi, I noticed that your publishing company's name is Maori Music.
That's right. I've no idea why they're called Maori Music. There must be some sort of link to New Zealand, but they're actually about half an hour down the road from us in Yorkshire.
Right.
But Why Maori? I don't know. We'll have to ask them.
Yeah, somebody should be wondering about that. So you mentioned what's the title track, What's Tomorrow Ever Done For You? And I noticed there's a video with some like dancing skeletons and stuff. So
What's tomorrow ever done for you? Ever done for me? I just can't believe the distant look that's in your eyes.
tell me a little bit about that. How did that come together?
David.
Well, yes, I put that together.
Oh, great.
The record wanted a promo video. Obviously, we couldn't get together to shoot anything particularly, so I utilised video clips I could find online and tried to put something together just so we could publicise the track. And I quite like the skeletons. I'm a robot.
Very good.
Some of the live clips are us in the cavern, aren't they? Right.
That's right, yes. We had some live footage from a couple of gigs we've done at the Cavern in 2019-20.
Right.
So, yeah.
And you guys write together, do you? How does the process go as far as from beginning to end?
Well,
Lion.
My main contribution is the odd change of chord and the odd ending chord. So you two go for the rest.
I write quite a lot of the lyrics.
Okay.
Dave comes up with really good licks, don't you, Dave, and ideas.
Yeah.
Dave and me aren't particularly good. I don't know whether it's because we're lazy, but we're not very good at finishing songs. So we sort of present an idea and then, everybody else embellishes them. Simon, who's unfortunately can't be with us tonight, Simon tends to write full songs. So he'll present a full song to the band and say, I've written this and this is how it goes and these are the lyrics and this is the middle eight, and we crack on from there. So Simon's a more fully formed. So Dave and me are a little sketches more than anything else out of the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go
I
ahead.
think was about the first one I provided a full song, wasn't it? Musically.
Which one?
Dead Man's Hand.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. That one did actually present a full song.
And that one's it almost has like a little bit of a blues influence in it.
Pretty much, isn't it? Yeah. I'd agree.
Yeah.
Speaking as an outsider.
But if we're going to use terms, I guess power pop is the one that comes closest to describing what you guys do. Are you comfortable with that terminology?
Keeps coming back, doesn't it? And I think we fit the role pretty well.
Yeah.
Mark, you're probably the expert on that particular side of things. You go along with that, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. But there's elements of psychedelia in it. We would describe once as psych beat, and I thought, yeah, that was quite good. It was quite a good description of us. And very occasionally, there's the odd little bit of prog creeps in, on Realm of the Black Dog. Yes,
I noticed that it you saved it for the end of the album, it seemed like.
It felt that's where it should go. In fact, originally it was going to close the album, but we just felt it was a little bit maybe too morose to end the album. So
right.
We wanted to put at the end that sort of lifted the mood a little bit. Hence the reason for swapping it and putting Drown This Sorrow at the end instead.
And that one almost has kind of a folky vibe to it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think where that one came. That was one of my lyrics, and I think Simon put the chords to that together. In fact, there is a version of it where Dave did a great illustration, and it's just Simon and what sounds like the Philharmonic Orchestra. May well come out one day, but that's a really nice version. Yeah, it's more. It's like it's a strange song. It's got an optimism to it, although there's a little bit of melancholy to it as well.
Right. Now, in addition to the original tunes, you got a couple of covers, 3 of them, I think, and one of them is an old Hollies tune. Have you ever loved somebody? I'm wondering why you decided to nail that one.
Don't come back tomorrow and say what we did wasn't right. You cry on your pillow and find it hard to sleep at night. Have you ever loved somebody? Don't you know just what it's like? Hurting someone that you're close to. Have you
the song itself for the Hollies, surprisingly enough, wasn't a particularly big hit, certainly over here. I think the Searchers covered it and had a big hit with it. But it was suggested to us, wasn't it, by your man over in the States there, Mark?
Marty, yeah.
Marty, yeah. It was one of his favourite Hollies tracks, apparently. And he said, will you give it a go? So we did. And it worked out pretty well.
It did indeed.
Yeah. It wasn't one that we'd ever thought about doing. In fact, I wasn't familiar with the song. I've got to admit, I wasn't familiar with the song at all. And it was probably worked in favour because I wasn't familiar with. I don't think Dave was particularly familiar with it. And it meant that we could put like the Gold Needles sound on it and not sound as if we were just doing a cover.
Right.
At the time, we used Kurt Riley, who mastered the album. He drummed on that track for us. He's in the Gripweeds over in the States. He drummed on the track and did a fabulous job with it, and did some additional vocals on it as well. So really built the track up into a big sort of power pop, modern take on the track, I suppose.
Right. So when you cover a song like that that you're not that familiar with, do you approach it differently than, say, If I Needed Someone, which is also a Beatles song that everybody knows, and I'm sure you guys are intimate with it extremely.
Yeah, I think we do. Just echoing what Mark said, we for something like that, the Hollies track, I think if we had sat and listened to it and studied it, if you like, that would mean that our output, was maybe just like a cover, rather than just having a bit of ourselves to it. Do you reckon?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The track that we covered for the album was as a direct result of we'd contributed 2 tracks to Gem Records Celebrates John Lennon, an album that came out on what would have been John's 80th birthday last year.
Right.
And we did a bit of a mashup of Hey Bulldog with Cold Turkey, and we did No Reply. And they were both really well received. And in fact, they got played quite extensively on the Beatles channel on XM over in the States. So Marty had come back and said, these tracks have been really well received. Have you got anything else by the Beatles that you do or you've recorded? And at that time, we hadn't. And it was the last track we recorded for the album. And he said, I think if you could put another one on, I think it would be, very well received, given the fact that the other 2 tracks had got a lot of airplay, particularly over in the USA. And If I Needed Someone was a track that I knew we all liked, I knew we were all familiar with. I knew Simon liked it because he'd done it in a band years and years ago, and I'd seen them play it live.
If I needed someone to love, you're the one that I'd be thinking of. If I needed someone.
But when we put the track together, we wanted to try and steer it a little bit away from just a jangle Beatles cover. And I'll let Dave do the next bit. Dave, you explain what we did.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah, I my own mind. We recorded the basic track very quickly one morning during lockdown when we was able to get together. And I brought the track back home to my home studio. I just had it in my mind. I wanted to give it an Indian feel. So I just changed the guitar lick to a bit more. I was visualising a sitar. Obviously, I don't own one. So I just tried that sort of sound. There's a reverse guitar on there if you listen closely to it. And of course, we added the peacocks, which gave it the fine feel.
Authentic Indian feel, yeah. I think it's fair to say we borrowed a bit from Tomorrow Never Knows, didn't we, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's one other cover. You cover Counting the Days, which is tuned by a band called The Sound, who are kind of an 80s power pop band, for want of a better term. Where did you get that one from? Is that something that's a favorite of all yours, or?
Counting the days towards our new construction, moving mountains by compulsion. The impulse that shocks us out of our long-term decision. I'm counting the days towards our love.
Well, again, they're quite an obscure band, The Sound.
Yeah.
And there is a label in Canada called TBM, The Beautiful Music, that's run by a guy that we've become quite friendly with, a guy called Wally Salem. And he puts a lot of, he's a big television personalities, Adrian Ball and The Sound, he's into all that sort of stuff. And he was putting together a compilation album. And he asked us some time ago whether we'd like to contribute an album. And we recorded an early version of Counting the Days. And it was, the album never came out. I think he shelved the project or he got bored of it or whatever. And it was never used, but we really liked the track and we liked the way that we'd done it. We gave it, you know, we decided to swamp it with synthesizers, which was great for me. So we resurrected the track and Sam does a really good sort of plaintive vocal on it. And we got Will to do live drums on it. And it turned out to be yeah, we like it, you know, so it wasn't a track that you know, we were all, you know, clamoring and saying, we must record this. It was one that was one of those, I don't know, moments, I suppose.
Right.
I'd not heard it, so, you know.
There you go. And it's followed by one of your songs, The Story of My Life, which I thought the guitar in it sounded like you might have been listening to the Raspberries a little bit. Is that fair to say?
Dave, who were you listening to?
Mick Ronson.
Oh, there you go. That's always the right answer.
I was trying to give it a sort of Steve Jones Pistols type sound, I think, more than anything. Don't know whether I achieved it or not. It's I did my best, Mark.
Yeah, it's good job, well done. Right? Good job, well done.
So it must have been odd for you guys to kind of put this together in piecemeal. And so how did it work? Like you kind of drop something in and hope that everybody else liked it, or did you kind of talk about it afterwards? How did the process work?
I think it was pretty spontaneous, wasn't it? Would you agree? I mean, because we had such a small window of opportunity, i.e. the weather in England, it was recorded in the garden, we had to really concentrate. You know, there was no sort of margin for goofing about and, you know, just over thinking things. I think we just sort of kind of dived in, didn't we? And made the most of the sort of 2 or 3 hours that we had sort of spare those mornings. And I think that helped.
Yeah, we'd use the time to get the bass track down, the ghost guitar track, and get all the vocals done while we're all together. And then basically a discussion of what else we could add. And then Mark had his keyboard separately. I'd bring it back and I'd put my guitar parts on. And I think we know each other well enough now to know what we all want from a track. And, you know, I think it's worked out fine.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything we ever went back to particularly and said, no, I really don't like that. Let's swap it for something else. I think, you know, whatever we achieved, we were happy with.
In fact, we're going to do all future recordings in summer in the garden from now on.
There you go. Why not? Now, you touched on the fact that Realm of the Black Dog is kind of takes a different musical direction. It's a little proggy. So when you guys come up with something like that, it's kind of different than everything else you're doing. Do you sit around and talk about it? Do you discuss whether or not this belongs in with what the band is all about?
Through the darkness I see memories of my past. The sand slips through my fingers, never meant to last.
Well, I mean, that song personally means a lot to me. I suffered with a very bad bout of depression and anxiety in 2019. I was at work for a good few months. And I wrote those lyrics during that period. I found it a bit of a cathartic process. Don't usually write lyrics at all. I had the riff I've been messing around with for a while. And I mean, the guys were great. I finally obviously admitted the position I was in health-wise. And eventually I produced the lyrics. I said, look, I wrote these while I was ill, you know, what do you think, sort of thing.
Right.
Didn't really write them as lyrics as such, just to something I wrote. And both Mark and Simon really liked them and said, yeah, I think we should use them. It's men's mental health is something, is in the news now.
Yep.
So yeah, it became Realm of the Black Dog.
Okay. Now, is there any chance of you guys doing any gigs in the near future, or are you pretty much stuck inside by yourselves?
It's looking grim, isn't it?
It's looking grim, isn't it? Man.
Looking
It's got to be
grim,
tough to be in a
yeah.
band and putting out a record like this, and you're just like, well, here we are.
We couldn't
Yeah.
play last year. We had a quite gigs last year lined up, and every single one of them was cancelled. And we purposefully thought, well, there's no point rearranging because we've no idea what this year's going to bring. So we've not arranged anything. And at the minute, it's very much more ever done for you. We've no idea what it's going to do for us. We're just sort of sucking it.
And are you writing songs at least, or doing something creative?
Yeah, we're
gardening.
I mean, Dave came up with an idea.
Yeah. Actually, tomorrow will have done for me. I get my vaccine. There you go.
Oh, there you go. I think we're just about to get it here, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But
you've handled it a tad better than we have over there, haven't you?
Yeah. All righty. Well, and are you getting, when the album comes out in a couple of days, how are you going to interact with, are you going to do any kind of online thing, or how are you kind of interacting with your fans?
It's really difficult to answer because we've always been very active on social media.
Right.
But whether we decide to do something like this as some sort of Zoom, thing, I'm not. We hadn't planned to, because we'd actually hoped that by now we'd be able to do a proper launch and actually meet people and play live. And in the end, it would have been easy just to say, well, let's postpone it. But we could have been postponing it indefinitely. We could have been postponing it for 12 months. And in discussion with the record company, we just said, look, let's just put it out. Let's get it out. And that's what we've decided to do. I mean, being honest, I think you say the same. I'm not a huge fan of all the streaming stuff that you see individuals and it just doesn't feel the same to me. And much as I can watch a gig live on TV or a recorded gig, and I can sit and enjoy it, but it's just not the same as actually being there.
That's a fact.
And we've sort of purposefully shied away from that. To start with, the internet was swamped with very earnest people with an acoustic guitar, just playing boring versions of songs, and we didn't want to be, we didn't want to end up being, a Me Too for doing that.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, hopefully things will get better. Things will change. Have you guys ever been down to New Zealand?
No. I've been to Japan.
No.
At least side of the world.
All right. Well, that's something to look forward to. Hopefully things will shape up very soon. You just have to quarantine for like 2 weeks before you can come into the country, so it makes it a little difficult.
Yeah, and then 2 weeks when we get back.
Yeah, exactly. All righty. Well, good luck with the album. Oh, it's on gold vinyl too. Is that right?
It's on like yellow vinyl. It's a beautiful yellow. It's like a bowl of sunshine on your record table.
Well, that's good right there. Fantastic. Yeah, there you go. All righty. Well, thank you very much for talking to me. It's great to see you guys. Hopefully you'll be on stage together sometime in the near future. We'll see what happens. Hope the record does well. It sounds great.
Cheers, Marty. Thank you very much.
Hi to any former Hollensians out there in music.
Bye-bye.
Take care.